Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. A double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of DMS who rule well, peace, and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is I Will Stir Up the Medes Against Them. Right, and the Medes are Russia today, and they will be stirred up against Babylon the Great. And pretty much, there's no stopping what's coming. The scriptures say in Nahum 3 and 19, it says, there is no healing of thy bruise, thy wound is grievous. All that hear the root of thee shall clap their hands over thee, for upon whom have not thy wickedness passed continually. And basically, America is constantly talking about peace now. First Thessalonians 5:3, it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And they're talking about peace because we are in that time, right? We're in that time of what? War, right? We're in the time of war. World War III has already started, right? And everyone, the experts or whatnot, they're saying Ecclesiastes chapter 3 in verse 8, it says a time to look, so it goes into, a time for everything basically up there. And then here at the bottom, it says a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So you have your peace, right? You have your periods of time where there's peace, and you have your periods of time when there's war. And what these devils are trying to do right now in these last days with Russia is trying to basically put the bear back to sleep, right? The bear has awoken up. The Most High Yahweh Bashmi Shai said that he will stir up the Medes, right? Put hooks back into the jaws of Russia, this bear. There's no tranquilizing what has already started, basically. Ezekiel 38, it says, Ezekiel 38:4, right? This goes into the prophecy about Gog, right, which is Russia, in future invasion of Israel. Ultimately, Russia will be the spearhead of many nations to go against America and Israel, right? This is Ezekiel 38:4. It says about Russia, it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. So you have formerly the USSR, right, which was Russia, which basically that bear was basically tranquilized, put to sleep. But now you have, Joel chapter 3, where the weak are saying that they're strong because the Most High Yahweh Bashmi Shai is stirring up and has stirred up this bear. These same devils, right, they're Edomites over here in Russia, right? They're a war machine now. They're, rapidly building missiles, coming out with new missiles and things like that. There's no peace, right? We can clearly see that Russia's not backing down. This is Joel 3:9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And once again, that USSR, right? However it is, that was Russia, right? And now Russia is new, right? The bear is back pretty much because the Most High Yahweh did this. Ezekiel 38:4. It says to Russia, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. So the Most High Yahweh Bashmiel shall lead Russia forth. It says, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shield, all of them handling swords. Right. So Russia is going to come with many nations, right, to come against America and Israel. And we're seeing that happening right now. And those little hats are in Ukraine also, right? That's where they have the heads. That's what Israel does. Another head of these little hats would be Mexico right now. That lady there, she's a little hat, and ultimately this is going to spiral out into what will be World War III because these little hats are going to drag America, basically into the battle. But Russia is not stepping down. Let me grab this. It says right there, the title there says Babylon will fall to the Medes. It says Isaiah 13:17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, right, up against Babylon, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So there's no deal, there's no master plan and there's no turning back the plagues that Yahweh Bashar has sent. Right, the plagues are here, and a part of the plague is the fact that Russia is going to be the one that destroys America, and they're on the road. Right, their word for 2025 is victory. Right, that's the whole. Everyone is chanting victory in Russia right now. Right, the victory. All right, this is let me see. Let me get 16. This one is good, but you go to the other one. This is Second Esdras chapter 16, verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon in Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria, the whole world. It says, gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for their destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? And you have all type of problems happening up towards the people, right? We have different straits being blocked. We have different warships being blocked, right? Different tensions happening all over the planet with everyone, right? It says, may verse 6, may any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn? It says, may one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shai sent the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? And they're trying to drive them away with their craftily crafted 28-point peace plan for this Ukraine situation. You know, like I said, the bear is up. You know, a fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? All right. He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shah shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. The earth quaketh, and this is because the nuclear missiles that Russia will shoot, right? And everyone else that is joined with Russia will shoot these things on America. It says the earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof, the sea arises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled. And you know, Russia has missiles that go underwater and cause tsunamis. Right? It says, and the fishes thereof also. Before the, I'll read it again. Verse 12. It says, the earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof, the sea arises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled. And the fishes thereof also, before the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp. These are the arrows, the nuclear missiles, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So the Most High Yahweh Bashmiel Shai is going to use the bear, which is Russia, to do this. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Right? The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. You know, so they're gonna do the whole purpose that they're meant to do. It says in verse 37, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. So they're not gonna slow down, right? There's no peace. That's why the scripture is saying First Thessalonians 5 that sudden destruction. And every time they do, you know, every time they come up with some type of peace plan or something, Russia do something different, new missile unveiling or a Tesla missile or something, you know. Says verse 38, as when a woman with child is in the ninth month bringing forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains can pass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. You know, so let me get some of this, and I'll get my last two precepts here, because basically Russia has already given the demands of what they want for peace, because Russia, believe it or not, is actually winning the war. And we believe this, the hopeful elect, because the scriptures tell us that the Most High Yahweh Bashim al-Shah is going to be turning Russia back to do his purpose. So they're going to win, because that's the whole point, right? Russia's going to be the one to destroy America ultimately, or shoot off the missiles with the people join with them. But Yahweh Shah is going to be there and to finish off everyone, you know? But the Most High needs Russia to basically stir up against Babylon. So that's what's happening. So they're winning, and they have already set the demands of what they want regarding peace. And basically, the West and Europe has denied those things, right? Ukraine at first already had agreed to it, but the West came in and said, no, no, no. Okay, so Russia has already given their demands because they're winning. So it says, but now you have the West trying to come up with a plan. They're meeting together with each other about what's to happen regarding the peace plan, and Russia's not there. All right, it says UK diplomats view U.S. plan on Ukraine as working. They're over here, looking at the plan, omitting things, adding things, taking things away, and Russia hasn't even. Here's right here, victory, recognized as word of 2025 in Russia. All right, it says European leaders may visit Washington to discuss plan on Ukraine. Like, this is what's happening right here. European leaders may visit Washington to discuss plan on Ukraine. These people are in one location. These people are in another location. These people are in the third location. Okay. It says Russia ready to work with U.S. as part of Washington's G20 presidency. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna read this. Russia giving Kiev another chance to end conflict. Ball is in its court. Russia MP. It says the situation on the battlefield apparently is not at Ukraine's advantage. Okay, so Moscow is giving Kiev a chance to stop the bloodshed and end the conflict, and it's up to Ukraine to take it or not, a senior Russian lawmaker said. And ultimately, they discussed different things, about it. Slovakia. I kind of lost my train of thought I was about to say, but right here is what Russia wants, right? Which they have already gave the demands already. Every time they come up with a new peace plan for Russia and Ukraine, the experts get on YouTube or wherever they're at and say, well, Russia is winning the war. Russia has already given the demands of what they want, and they're not going to let up. It says under the U.S. peace plan, details of which were leaked to the Western media, the United States and other countries will recognize Russia's sovereignty over Crimea, Donbass, and other. So this is what Russia wants. In other territories, Ukraine will have to cede. In exchange, Kiev will be granted security. So I want to make sure if this is, I don't know if this is part of Donald Trump's plan. So look, this is okay. So it says the Russian side is satisfied with the progress on the battlefield, and if Kiev rejects the plan, Russia will achieve the goals of its special military operation by military means, he added. Yeah, look, President Vladimir Putin said that Russia is ready for talks in the United States. In the United States, 28-point peace plan can be used as a groundwork for a peaceful settlement in Ukraine. Nevertheless, the Russian side is satisfied with the progress on the battlefield, and if Kiev rejects the plan, Russian will achieve the goal of its special military operation by military means, he added. It says, under the U.S. peace plan, details of which were leaked to the Western media, the United States and other countries will recognize Russia's sovereignty over Crimea, Donbass, and other territories Ukraine will have to cede. In exchange, Kiev, and this is something that I guess Putin is leaning towards to, it says Kiev will be granted security guarantees from the United States and Europe. A demilitarized zone is to be created in areas Ukrainian troops will be withdrawn from. It said the Ukrainian army will be heavily reduced and stripped of long-range weapons. The plan also provides for a ban on the deployment of foreign troops in Ukraine and recognizing the Russian language as a state one, according to Bloomberg. The plan also envisages the lifting of the anti-Russian sanctions. So it sounds like Russia will, basically get everything they want in this plan. So we'll see. So basically, the ball is in Ukraine's court because this is what Russia wants. but this is the weak saying that they're strong, right? And this is the bear waking up. This is the Most High Yahweh Bashmi Shai, turning Russia, to how he wants them. Okay. So let me grab this. Jeremiah, and I'll go back to Isaiah. Jeremiah 51:27 says, set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ariat, Minia, and Achinaz, which is Germany, Turkey, and Armenia. Appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up at the rough caterpillars. Prepare against her the nations with the king of the Medes, which is Russia, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Shai shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. Ultimately, whatever peace plan they try to do, it ain't gonna work out, right? They're not gonna accept Russia's demand, however they're gonna do it. All right, let me grab this Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13:17, it says, behold, I will stir the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So if they do try to come up with a peace plan to say, listen, just stop the war, we'll give you such and such, but we need the land or the case maybe, they're not going to accept that. It says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, which is their missiles, right? And ultimately their nuclear missiles. It says, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, their eyes shall not spare children. Why is that? Because if you shoot a nuclear missile over here, guess what? It's going to blow up. All right. It says, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of Chaldea's excellency, right? Excellency shall be as one Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. What happened with that? It was destroyed with brimstone, fire, right? It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their folders. So after Russia sends those nuclear missiles over here, will all the people join unto Russia, right? You get Obadiah 1:7, Revelation 17, going down towards the end, I believe it's 10, right? With the horns turning on Babylon, and also in Obadiah, their trusted friends making schemes behind their back, right? So Russia and these individuals will shoot missiles at Babylon and make it desolate forever, where no one can pitch tent there never again, right? It says, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and statues shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So we're almost at that point. We can see once again that this bear has been raised up. So that's all I had, because these devils here in America are right now talking about a peace plan, for Russia, and I was looking at it, and Russia's not even there. So anyway. Shalom, Shalom for language consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.